Right, this evening, what we are going to be talking about. In fact, there's two things that we're doing this evening. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is dealing with being ghosted by customers. Now, a few years ago, this word ghosting didn't really exist. It's only sort of since, social media and things have come along. Hark at me, sounding very old. But it is obviously now a term, but in all sorts of contexts where somebody doesn't reply to you or someone doesn't get back to you on something. And it is quite common for us cake makers, in fact, all businesses, to be ghosted by customers. And often in this Facebook group, people will post, "Oh, I've had no reply from this customer and I'm really cross and I want to rant," and things like that, which is a perfectly valid response to have. Perfectly valid. But what I'm going to talk about this evening, I'm sort of split it into two bits. I'm going to start off with a bit of mindset, mindset work, as they say, and then we're going to talk practically, things that you can do practically to ease the burden and to stop things happening like that. I'm going to put my glasses back on because I can't read my notes here. I've got loads of notes and I can't really make head or tail of them, but that's the way I roll. Okay. Oh, Homebake is here. Hello, Laura too. Hello. Nice to see you. There might be a bit of interaction going on in a minute, so brace yourselves. I might ask you to write some things down. Oh, Sue's here. Hello, Sue. And that's why I've gone live into Facebook rather than via Zoom, because if I do it via Zoom, there's such a delay. It would just be boring you sitting around. So there's a very small delay on this, but less than it would be otherwise. Does that make sense? Yes, you know what I mean. Hello. Right, so let's talk about this ghosting, this customer silence. First thing we're going to do is think a little bit in a mindset kind of way. And the first thing we need to think about is that we are running a business. There is going to be a little bit of tough love here tonight, by the way. I'm not averse to a bit of tough love. Sometimes we need a bit of tough love. I don't mind having tough love aimed at me as well. So that's why I give it out, because it's useful. I think that, and I dare say, I'm going to stick my neck out here, and those that get angry and rant about being ghosted are perhaps not thinking of their business with a business head on. They are thinking of it with a personal head on and taking it personally. Now, not all of you, obviously, but I think if you allow yourself to take these things personally, you are going to go down such a deep, rabbit hole of whatever it is you're going to go down. And it's really not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for your stress levels. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for anything. So what I always recommend is that you treat your business with your head first and then your heart. It's not to say you can't be heartless in business. Far from it. You've got to have heart in business. But in certain situations, you've got to let your head lead. And you've got to you've got to see yourself as the CEO. You've got to see yourself as the person responsible for your business making a profit. Okay. So if you are getting tied up with being angry about customers not replying to you, are you wasting time that you could be spending in your business doing things to get more customers? Are you allowing yourself to get so cross and worried and angry about it that it's stopping you from doing the positive things that you need in your business? One of my mottos, apart from the 3 words on my door that were always on my door, one of my mottos is that I don't keep angry or worried about anything I allow myself a few minutes if I'm cross about something, because that's human nature, it's instinct. You want to be cross, you want to let your feelings out. But after a while, I think, well, okay, can I do something about this? And if I can't do anything about it, why am I angry or worried? What good is that going to be to me? It's going to be no good to me whatsoever. Okay. And this, what I always say with mistakes and failures is the same. I take all the learning I can from a situation that's bad. And once I've done that, once I've taken everything I need to learn from it that I can, I park it, let it go. Worrying about something, if you can do something about it, do something about it. If you can't do anything about it, how is worrying going to help? I used to be quite a worrier. I used to be, and I used to get angry about things. But I've sort of taught myself that actually there's no point in doing that. Be angry for a little bit, allow yourself that sort of venting, that sort of release of air or gas or whatever it is. Well, that sounded a bit rude, but you know what I mean. Allow yourself to get rid of that and then think, right, let's be practical here. Can I do anything? No. Right, let's get back to business and get on with what I can control. And if I can do something about it, let's see what I can do. Let's see what actions I can take. Okay. So it's all to do with thinking of your business as a business, thinking of yourself as a CEO, and thinking about, okay, is this situation something I can learn from? Is it something I can do something about? And moving on from there. Okay. So the other thing I was going to talk about in mindset terms with ghosting is I get the impression, oh, Joe's here, and Zoe and Mimi, hello folks, hello, and Adele, hello Adele, oh, it's nice to see you all. That when people post, or when bakers post about being ghosted, they often, not always, but often assume that they think the customer thinks they're too expensive. Because often the post goes something like this. I sent my coat to a customer. It was, I don't know, £100 for this, this and this. They haven't got back to me. Have I charged too much? Now, some of you are going to guess what I'm going to say here. But the first rule for dealing with customers, I think, or one of the first rules, is never assume what the customer is thinking. Never assume you know what the customer is thinking. Okay. Now we're going to have a bit of interaction here. And there's people on that I know will be able to do this. Okay. So I would like you to think about all the reasons why a customer doesn't get back to you about a quote. Forget price for a minute. Think about all the other reasons that a customer would not reply to your quote. I'll give you a second to think, and I'll give you a second to type. I'm breaking up a bit. Oh no. I wondered whether Facebook would do this to me. I hope you can all see me okay. Can you tell me some reasons why a customer would not reply to your quote? Let's hope we get some. They get sidetracked by children. Yes. Is that experience telling you that, Kerry? They're too busy. Yes. Any others? They found someone cheaper. Yeah, it might well be that. Email, your email has gone to spam. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one. They might prefer other designs. These are really good. They got more cheaper on another one. Yeah. Any more? Might be. Might be, says Kerry. Oh, dearie me. My children are grown now. They're in their 20s. So, A customer told me they had an emergency. Yeah. Okay. They've changed their minds design wise. Yeah. They're waiting on other quotes. Brilliant. These are brilliant. These are brilliant. See, there's so many reasons. If you've got a few more, that's brilliant. Just keep them coming if you think of any more. But of course, as I said, there are so many reasons why a customer might not come back to you. Okay. Now, I always say to my my wedding couples, because I'm almost exclusively do weddings now, and some of them are honest with me and say, oh, we're actually waiting on a few other quotes. And I say, brilliant. No, you need to do that. You know, you've got to not sort of almost put all your eggs in one basket, although don't phrase it like that. I say, yes, of course, you get quotes. It's a lot of money you're spending. You've got to make sure you're getting it right. Okay. Any more? No, I think that's it. They might well be sidetracked. They might well have forgotten. They might well, it might be that they were looking for quotes because they weren't sure whether they want a cake for this occasion. They might want something else, or it might be that someone else has offered to do the cake for the party or whatever it is. And they've said, oh yeah, well, Dave's doing it now, so we'll let Dave sort it out. And they just don't get back to you. Okay. More often than not, the reason they don't reply has got nothing to do with the baker. Nothing to do with the baker. It's to do with the lives of the person you've sent the quote to. Okay. So let me give you this scenario. I wasn't sure whether I was going to go into the next section, but let me talk about this scenario now. So let's say that parent A their child has a birthday in a month's time. They have been charged with finding a baker to make the cake. They've also been charged with finding a village hall to have their children's party in, the invitations, the party bags, balloons, hire a magician, hire a bouncy castle. The list goes on. So they find a couple of cake makers. They Google, they find a couple of cake makers, and they wallop off a message saying, can you do me cake? It's for a 5-year-old's party. I need it for 20 children. Something with, I don't know, Paw Patrol or wherever it is. Whatever the design is at the moment. Can you give me a figure? So the baker, you as the baker, might say, you might ask for some more details. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you give them a figure. Meanwhile, parent A has got caught up with the village hall not being free for the party, and they've got to find somewhere else. So they've got to phone up loads of other village halls and leisure centres and things. The invitations that they bought need filling in, so they've got to do all that. They've got to decide, and they've got to actually buy find a present for their child themselves. Yada yada yada. You those of you with children will know everything that it involves. So eventually, the fact that they've sent off inquiries about a cake gets put to one side. Okay. So let's say that that's a month before. So let's say about 10 days later, they realise that they haven't sorted the cake out, and they go into a blind panic because it's really getting short notice now. And some of the bakers that they've then contact say, oh no, sorry, we're fully booked now, we can't do it now. Now tell me whether if you were one of the bakers that sent a quote a month before, if you then sent another email 3 days later saying, hello, have you sorted out your birthday cake yet? Any questions, anything you need to know? Would that be a help to that person, or would it be annoying to them? Which is it going to be? Help or annoying? Yes or no? Help or hindrance? Help. Is it going to help them or is it not? Tell me. What do you think? I know the answer. You know the answer. They say it's a sign of a bad teacher who asks a question that they think they know the answer to, but I'm going to ask it anyway. It's a big help. Thank you, Kerry. It's a big help. Mainly because it's reminded them that they need to get the cake. And secondly, oh, you think it's annoying, Katie? Oh, okay. Too many other things to juggle. Okay. Jill thinks it'll help. Okay. And as with all these things, there will be a few that will be annoyed by it, but I reckon the vast majority would be, oh my goodness me, the cake. Yes, it's at the top of their email list, your email. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten. Quickly reply to it. Yes, please, we need it. How can I pay? Okay. Rather than getting sort of 10 days, 2 weeks down the line, oh, I completely forgot about the cake and no one's free now to do it for me. Or if they are, they're going to charge a surcharge because it's, late fee or whatever, So actually, don't think about following up as being unhelpful or annoying, because in the vast majority of time, if I get a follow up about something I've quoted for, more often than not, it's, oh yeah, I forgot to reply. Yeah, because life's like that, isn't it? Life takes over. So you've got children, you've got all sorts of things going on, and it's easy to forget from our point of view that we're not the most important thing on that person's agenda. We're the most important thing on our agenda, but we're not the most important thing on theirs. So a little nudge, little bit of help, little bit of a reminder might go a long way for them to go, oh, thanks. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that, but you've reminded me. Thank you. In fact, I've had that before. Thank you for reminding me. If not, yeah, if already sorted, annoying. But if you word it correctly, the chances are you'll get sorry, we've already sorted it, but thanks. You might get a response, which will let you know either way then, won't it? Okay. So let's talk about some practical things that can be done. Now, it's worth saying that you're never going to stop it completely. You're always going to have customers that you never hear from again after you've sent something. Always. But you can do some things, put some things in place to make it less, which is slightly, less annoying for you, isn't it? So I would say that the first thing you need to make sure is, even before they've inquired, make sure they've got enough information, if you're talking about things like pricing, so they know you are going to be in their ballpark price. Okay, I think when pricing is involved, it's often that the customer has had no idea what this cake's going to cost. And when they get the quote, they're a little bit, oh my goodness, I didn't realise it was going to be that much. Not always, of course, as we've just said. But if you can have on your shop front, wherever that is, whether it's your socials or hopefully your website, but if it's your socials, wherever your shop front is that these people are saying, have some kind of price guide. If you are menu items, that's slightly easier because you can say, this cake costs this cake costs this. I know that some people do 6-inch cakes from this amount, 7-inch cakes from this amount. That's all really helpful to the customer, because then they have an idea. Then if their budget is way out, they're not going to contact you in the first place. Okay. I have on my website an inquiry form, and on that inquiry form it has a drop-down menu that asks which budget bracket they are in, and it starts, and this for wedding cakes is actually quite low, it starts at £350. So filling in that form, they know that they're not, if they've only got 150, they're not going to get anything. Basically, they're very unlikely to get a cake from me if they've got less than £350. So that's going to stop anyone with very low budgets from contacting me via that. Okay, so give them an idea. Okay, and that's before they inquire. Now, once they have inquired, what you can then do in your response, okay, you've got to engage with them. Now, a couple of times I've seen, not, I don't think in this Facebook group, but in other Facebook groups, people have posted up screenshots of, what customers have done. And, customer says, can you do this cake, please? Can you give me a price? And baker has just replied, £90. No. Nothing wrong with £90, but why are you not saying thank you for contacting me? I'm sure you do this, but just to make the point, know, like, and trust is very important in business. Give them a little bit of, oh, thanks for contacting me. How lovely that your son is going to be 5. My son likes Paw Patrol too, or whatever it is. Obviously, don't make it up, but make it chatty. I'm sure you do this, but I'm just making a point. Give them a reason to engage back with you. Give them a reason to then contact back. And the important thing you've got to remember is literally give them a call to action. Tell them to do something. So don't just say, oh, thanks for contacting me, here's the price, full stop. Finish off with a question. If you've got any more questions, please reply or please email me again. For wedding quotes, I always say, if you'd like a phone call or an appointment, I'm free on Tuesday morning. Let me know if you'd like an appointment. So give them the opportunity to be replying back to you. Okay, give them a call to action. Don't ever just give them a price, full stop. Give them a price, ask them a question, make them respond back to you. And the chances are that then they will. They'll see you more as a human being and not just a business, although they need to see you as a professional person running that business. It's a fine line. Hopefully you see that. First impressions are crucial. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure you've experienced either online or actually in a shop, if you go into a shop and someone's friendly, oh, good morning, how are you? And they chat and they might say something about the weather or whatever. You feel much more comfortable in that space. And it's the same in an online space, in an email space or a message space. If someone is made to feel comfortable by what you're saying to them and how you're messaging them, they're much more likely to respond. Okay. In fact, on my wedding cake form, I have a little paragraph that's optional that can say, tell me some details about how you met, or tell me a little bit about, you as a couple, because sometimes that's really helpful for weddings. And some people ignore that. But for some, I've had whole paragraphs of, how they knew each other when they were little and they went their separate ways, but they've come together again through their dogs and they've, it's just lovely. So, of course, when I respond, I will respond to all that. What a lovely story, and talk about things that we might have in common. Because it all really helps with the know, like, and trust factor. If they warm to you and want to engage with you, they're much more likely to come back to you. Okay. No, not yet. 10K stuff at the end in a little bit. Oh, I'm glad you're there. Oh, there's quite a few people on. Who else is on? Hello, Shaz. Hello, Proper Bakes. Hello. Emma's here. Erica's here. Nancy's here. Hello. Sorry if I've missed anyone. So what have I said? Yeah, so when you reply, give them a reason to reply back to you. Ask a question, suggest a phone call, or ask, don't just give the price and full stop. Give them a reason to give back to you. And as I was talking about at the beginning, follow up. There are statistics that I've been told by various sales experts that, and you might have heard me say this before, that there's a percentage of sales, something like 80% of sales happen on the 5th follow-up. And only something like 10% happen on the 1st follow-up. Something like that. That's not accurate, but it's around that ballpark. Meaning that if you only follow up once, you're leaving all the other bakers who follow up more times than you to to get the business that you've missed, in other words. And how you follow up, there's a bit of an art to it, to a certain extent, but it's all to do with just being helpful. Did you get the email? Someone mentioned before about emails going into spam. I've had that before. So if I've sent a couple of emails and they've not landed, I might go back to Messenger or Facebook or somewhere like that and just say, just checking that you got that. Did you get it? And a couple of times they said, no, I didn't. I'm glad you let me know. Okay, particularly if it's a big order. And they seemed very keen at the time. You know, you do get the impression, don't you? So it may be that the email hasn't landed. So just double check that. As I said, be helpful. Just checking that you got the email. Is there any more questions you have? Did you need any more options? So some of them might, customers might not actually want to say that's too expensive, because sometimes that's not some people just don't want to admit that they can't afford something. So it may be that it is out of their budget, but they didn't want to say. So can I give you some more options? Were you thinking of this, that, and the other? Give them some, other things to think about. And always think about you're helping them to buy. You're not selling to them, you're helping them to buy. There is a saying in business that actually selling something always solves a problem for a customer. So, someone wanting a birthday cake for their child, the problem is that they can't make it themselves, or they haven't got time to make it themselves, and they want someone else to do it for them. So you are solving that problem. So if you are helping them to solve that problem, then that's all to the good. Okay. Yes, you're quite right. Some people might get crossed by, a few emails, but what have you got to lose? What are they going to do? They're just going to ignore you, aren't they? What's the worst that can happen if you send emails, saying, I'm still here. Do you need any help? Yada, yada, yada. They're just going to, worst scenario, they're just not going to reply, which some of them won't. But you will have some that will say, oh, thank you, I forgot all about that. Or really sorry, I've had this, that, and the other to deal with. I meant to get back to you. And because they've seen your email at the top of their inbox, it's made it easy for them. They haven't got to search through all their emails to find your last one. So you've been helpful to them. Okay. So there we are. So all those things will help towards customers actually not ghosting you, not being silent towards you, and not engaging with you. Okay, I hope that has been useful. Have anyone got any questions or any what have we got? Hang on. Oh, what's Adele said? This happened to me. It was very last minute. I offered to deliver for free, but I even messaged them to say I can help them. It was 2 days notice. Hang on, let's see. I made them agree. Yeah, help someone out. Yes, I can do it. You message. You're helping them out. If they don't reply, that's their loss, isn't it? And with something like cupcakes that's not personalised, the chances are you can sell that on, can't you? Which you obviously did do. Oh, you managed to donate. Excellent. So there we are. So I hope that's been useful. If you've got any, comments or any other, Jill says she always follows up after 24, 48 hours. I usually follow up with a call just to check they've received the email and see if they've got any questions. I always follow up, and like you said, you're basically taking business from someone else who isn't. I also find people looking for cake makers and message them first before they decide to message someone who's recommended. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope that's been useful. That's my little take on being ghosted.